Hi, seventh grade, first science lesson today. I am really excited. Our first chapter is going to be about magnetism and electromagnetism. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is at the beginning of every lesson, there's a section called My Planet Diary. And this one is fun facts on crocodile scent. So I'm going to read it to you. Crocodiles are threatened animals, so if they are not protected, they may become endangered and then disappear altogether. However, in Florida, many crocodiles live where people do, so they threaten people's safety. To keep both people and crocodiles safe, biologists tried to move crocodiles away from people. But there was a problem. Crocodiles use Earth's magnetic field to help them navigate. Whenever they relocated a crocodile, it eventually returned, if it was not killed on the way back. But then the biologists heard that scientists in Mexico had taped a magnet to each side of a crocodile's head before relocating it. They thought that the magnets would interfere with the crocodile's ability to use Earth's magnetic field to find its way back. Biologists here did the same thing. So far, it has been successful. So just one question on this little story here. Why do you think it is important to relocate crocodiles? Just take a couple seconds and think about your answer. The answer that I thought of was that it's important to relocate the crocodiles so that people stay safe as well as the crocodiles because they are threatened. All right, so every lesson is going to have key questions. There's 2 for this lesson. What are the properties of magnets? And how do magnetic poles interact? So let's find out what the answer to those questions are. Some definitions first. Magnet, any material that attracts iron and materials that contain iron. And then magnetism is the attraction or repulsion of magnetic materials. So magnets have the same properties as magnetic rocks. So let's find out what those properties are. Magnets attract iron and materials that contain iron. That's 1. Magnets attract or repel other magnets. That's 2. And in addition, one end of a magnet will always point north when allowed to swing freely. That's 3. So that's the answer to our first key question. So remember attracting and or repelling other magnets, and then one will always point north. Okay, so magnetic pole, either end of a magnet, so you have a north and a south magnetic pole on every magnet. And then every magnet, no matter size or shape, has 2 ends. Another thing to think about is if you break a magnet in half, it still has 2 ends. And so one half will have 2 ends and the other half will have 2 ends also. So how do magnetic poles interact? In the pictures here, you can see that the 2 ends are far apart. But over here, the N and the S are together. So like poles repel, so the 2 ends, or if you flipped it around, the 2 S's would also repel. Unlike poles attract, so we have the N and the S linked together. And if you flipped them around so that the other N and S were on the same side, they would also attract. Okay, so we have like poles repel, unlike poles attract. And then magnetic force, so another definition here. So the magnetic force is the attraction or repulsion between magnetic poles. So that's what we just saw in those pictures. And then a force is a push or pull that can cause an object to move. So let's review some vocabulary here. So we have magnet, any material that attracts iron and materials that contain iron. Magnetism, attraction or repulsion of magnetic materials. Magnetic pole, either end of a magnet, and then just remember, every magnet, no matter size or shape, has 2 ends. There is always a north pole and a south pole. And then finally, magnetic force, the attraction or repulsion between magnetic poles. So that's it for our lesson, a little short one for you guys to start, but we are going to just go over quickly to the assignment. So it's going to be on IXL. And I will suggest these skills, but if you can't find them, I will also list them. So you can go either to Arizona Standards and find the numbers. So we're going to look at identifying magnets that attract or repel, and then labeling magnets that attract or repel. I'll show you one other way to get here. So you can click on Science, and then we're going to go all the way down to, oops, hold on. I'm going to go to Topics. So this is going to be under Physics. And it's actually in 5th grade because it's a little bit of review. So identify magnets that attract or repel and label magnets that attract or repel. So let's just look at one example quick. So 2 magnets are shown, S and S. Will they attract or repel? Well, they have the same letter, the same poles are pointing towards each other, so they're going to repel. I'm going to click Submit, and we are correct. Remember, for science, you want to get all these questions right in a row. So I think it's 5 and then 4 maybe. Okay, so check for this on Edmodo with your lesson. And if you cannot see that the skill is suggested to you, then just follow either the link or the numbers that I will list also. All right, have a great day.